Have you ever really stopped to think about how urban our world is becoming? I mean, right now, 55% of everyone lives in cities,
Yeah, it's a huge number.
and it's set to jump to, what, 68% in just a few decades? That's staggering.
It really is.
So it makes you wonder, how are our cities actually going to handle all that growth? And, what part does technology play in all this?
hmm
Today, we're doing a deep dive into smart cities, what they are, how they actually function, and what it all means for us, living in or maybe moving to these places.
And our mission here really is to get past the buzzword. Smart city gets thrown around a lot.
Right.
We want to unpack what it actually means, explore the tech that defines them, the ways they're improving daily life sometimes in ways you wouldn't expect, and also the big challenges they're up against.
Okay, and for this dive, we looked at some really great sources. There's this comprehensive platform that's all about smart city news and case studies,
Yeah, very useful.
and also a pretty detailed definition from a major tech resource. So solid grounding.
Good stuff.
All right, let's start right at the beginning then. When we say smart city, what are we actually talking about? What's the core idea?
Okay, so at its heart, a smart city is basically an urban area, a municipality that uses information and communication tech, ICT, to, well, make things run better
Run better how?
in a few key ways. Boosting operational efficiency, so the city itself works smarter, sharing info with the public, improving government services, and ultimately just enhancing citizen welfare, making life better.
Okay.
But the key thing, I think, isn't just how much tech a city throws at problems. It's about what it chooses to do with that tech, how it uses it strategically.
Got it. So it's about purpose, not just gadgets. Now, building on that, our sources mention these three kind of hallmarks defined by the U.S. Department of Transportation for smart city projects. What are those?
Yeah, they lay out a pretty clear framework. First, you need networks. Networks of sensors, but also networks of citizens actively collecting data, like the city's eyes and ears.
Okay. Sensors and people.
Exactly. Second, there's connectivity. You need strong links, communication channels flowing from those networks, from the data, and from the citizens back to the government. That's the nervous system, feeding information back.
Right.
And third, crucially, is open data, sharing the results, the improvements, the data itself, fairly and openly with the public. Transparency is key.
That really highlights the collaborative side, doesn't it? It's not just the government doing its own thing.
Not at all. Smart city programs, they often weave into lots of other city priorities and success. It really hangs on good relationships between government, the private sector, and the citizens themselves.
Because a lot of the work isn't done by the government.
Precisely. Think about it. You might have different companies providing the sensors, others doing the cameras, maybe another handles the servers, data analysis, app development. It's a whole ecosystem. Collaboration is essential.
Okay, so we've got the what and the why, efficiency, better services, collaboration. But let's get into the how. What's the actual tech? What's under the hood powering these cities?
Right, the nuts and bolts. Well, it mainly relies on a mix of Internet of Things devices, IoT software, and communication networks.
IoT is the big one you hear about.
It really is the linchpin. Imagine this huge network of connected things, cars, sensors on streets, maybe even your home appliances all talking to each other, exchanging data, and that data often gets stored on servers, usually in the cloud.
Okay.
And a lot of these IoT devices now have edge computing built in,
Edge computing, meaning?
meaning the device itself can do some basic data processing locally, it can pre-filter information, maybe even trigger simple actions right there, and only send the really important stuff over the network. Makes things faster, less data clogging up the pipes.
So it's not just dumping raw data constantly, it's smarter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And connecting all this, that's where modern 5G networks come in. They give you the reliability and, crucially, the capacity to handle potentially millions of sensors, all reporting data.
Makes sense. You need the bandwidth.
Definitely. And beyond IoT and 5G, there's a whole suite of other tech involved. Things like APIs, application programming interfaces, which let different systems talk to each other.
Like digital glue.
Sort of, yeah. Then you've got AI and machine learning, analyzing all that data, finding patterns, maybe predicting traffic jams or energy needs, cloud computing for storage and power, dashboards to visualize it all.
Dashboards for the city managers.
Right, so they can see what's happening. Plus machine-to-machine communication, mesh networks for resilient connections, even digital twins.
Digital twins, like a virtual copy of the city.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
A virtual replica of physical assets, a bridge, a building, maybe a whole utility network. Lets you test changes virtually before you mess with the real thing.
Wow. Okay, it's incredible how all that works together, often silently, behind the scenes. So let's connect it back. How does this tech actually show up in our daily lives? What are the real world improvements?
Great question. The applications are really diverse. Take mobility, for instance. You've got smart parking meters. Maybe you use an app to find a spot and pay digitally.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Or smart traffic management. Systems that optimize traffic lights based on real-time flow or time of day to cut down congestion.
Okay.
Public transit gets smarter too. Real-time tracking,
Yeah,
better coordination, which hopefully means, less waiting around for the bus.
that would be nice.
Absolutely. Plus things like ride sharing, bike sharing services, integrating better. Then there's energy and environment. Smart streetlights that dim when nobody's around.
Saves energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Smart grids for more efficient power delivery, managing renewables better, spotting outages faster. We're also seeing environmental monitoring, tracking air pollution, noise levels.
Hmm.
Even waste management gets smarter. Internet-connected bins that signal when they're full, optimizing collection routes. And sensors monitoring water quality, both drinking water and wastewater.
Okay, so mobility, energy, environment. What else?
Public safety is a big one. Using tech to monitor high-crime areas, or sensors for early warnings, think floods, landslides, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
Some cities even use gunshot detection systems.
Wow.
And infrastructure itself. Smart buildings with sensors monitoring structural health, maybe detecting wear and tear on a bridge early. Or apps letting you report potholes directly. Even detecting leaks in water pipes faster.
And this all ties into economic benefits too, presumably.
Oh, for sure. Efficiencies in things like urban farming or manufacturing,
Hmm.
creating tech jobs. Saving energy saves money. It all adds up.
So the big picture here is moving from just reacting to city problems to actually being proactive, using data to optimize pretty much everything.
That's a great way to put it. Proactive optimization.
It sounds like a seriously complex operation, though. How does a smart city actually work day to day? Is there a typical process?
Yeah, there's generally a four-step cycle they follow. It starts with collection, those smart sensors we talked about. They're constantly gathering real-time data across the city.
Okay, step one, get the data.
Step two is analysis. All that data gets assessed to pull out meaningful insights. What are the patterns? Where are the problems? What opportunities does the data reveal?
Makes sense. Data isn't useful on its own.
Right. Step three is communication. Those insights need to get to the decision makers quickly and clearly through robust networks and often those dashboards we mentioned.
Got it.
And finally, step four is action. Cities use those insights to actually do things, implement solutions, optimize how they manage resources, tweak operations, and ultimately improve quality of life. And then the cycle repeats. Collection, analysis, communication, action.
A continuous loop. Okay, let's zoom out again. Why is this becoming so critical now? We talked about population growth.
Exactly. It's becoming essential because of that massive urban growth,
Yeah.
55%, heading toward 68% urban population. Cities just have to get smarter and more efficient to sustain that growth, to provide services, to maintain quality of life. And there's a huge environmental angle, too. Smart cities can really help reduce emissions. Think switching transit to electric or managing the power grid better to handle all those EV charging demands without strain.
EVs could even help the grid.
Potentially, yeah. The idea is that parked EVs connected to the grid could act like distributed batteries, helping to balance supply and demand. It's a ways off, but the potential is there.
Interesting.
And looking even further out, think about autonomous vehicles. If they lead to less car ownership, fewer cars on the road, that could also mean significantly lower emissions.
So it's really about making density work, making it sustainable when more people live closer together.
Precisely. Optimizing resources when space and energy are finite.
Okay, this sounds amazing, but, it can't all be easy. There must be significant challenges, right? Big hurdles.
Oh, absolutely. There are major challenges.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I'd say, is citizen engagement.
Getting people on board.
Exactly. You can't just drop tech on people. You need to involve residents, businesses, visitors. City leaders have to communicate the benefits, promote the use of open data, build trust. That collaboration we talked about, it's crucial for getting citizens engaged, creating the smart citizen. Without buy-in, it just doesn't work as well.
And related to that, I imagine, is the whole data privacy issue, the big brother concern.
Huge issue, data privacy and security. People are understandably worried about their data being exposed, hacked, misused. The perception of surveillance is real.
So how do cities address that?
Well, a key part is anonymizing data wherever possible. stripping out personally identifiable information, and being transparent about how data is used, focusing on the positive outcomes like, faster emergency response, not just data collection itself. Building trust is paramount.
Okay, what else?
Connectivity. Sounds basic, but it's maybe the biggest practical hurdle.
Yeah.
You can have millions of fancy sensors, but if they can't reliably connect to the network, they're useless.
Right, the backbone has to be solid.
Absolutely. Then there's infrastructure maintenance. All these systems, transit, traffic, water, power, they need constant upkeep, especially as systems age and demand grows. It's a relentless task. And one last, maybe more philosophical challenge, especially for brand new smart cities built from scratch.
Like Neom in Saudi Arabia.
Exactly. It's the lack of cultural fabric. How do you attract people and make them want to live there? Culture, community spirit. You can't just program that with sensors. Plus, there are often big questions about sustainability, like where the water will come from for these massive new desert cities.
That's fascinating. The tech is one thing, but the human element, the community, the trust, that's just as vital, maybe more so.
I really think so. The tech enables, but the people make the city.
Okay, we've covered the concepts, the tech, the challenges. Let's make it concrete. Where's this actually happening? Who are the pioneers?
Yeah, lots of exciting examples globally. Singapore often gets called the gold standard. They use tech for everything, monitoring cleanliness, crowd density, traffic flow. They help businesses and residents track energy and water use in real time. They're even testing robot buses and remote health monitoring for seniors.
Wow,
In the U.S., Kansas City, Missouri, put in smart streetlights, interactive kiosks, free Wi-Fi along their streetcar line. They have an app showing parking, traffic hotspots. San Diego installed thousands of smart sensors back in 2017 for traffic, parking, public safety, environmental monitoring. They've got solar EV charging stations, too.
So different cities focus on different things.
Absolutely. Dubai uses tech heavily for traffic, parking, planning, but also telemedicine, smart tourism, smart buildings. Barcelona is famous for its smart transport, smart bus stops with Wi-Fi and charging, bike sharing, parking apps, plus sensors monitoring pollution, noise, weather.
It's truly global then.
Definitely. You could add Toronto, Vienna, Tokyo, Reykjavik, London, Melbourne, Hong Kong to that list easily. And news just keeps coming. Austin hitting energy goals, London launching new data platforms, Edinburgh focusing on net zero, Dubai testing autonomous taxis, Singapore working on trusted AI. It's constantly evolving.
It really feels like the momentum is there. This isn't just theory anymore.
Not at all.
Thinking about this, it feels so futuristic, but you mentioned earlier examples. This idea isn't actually brand new, is it?
Not at all. You're right. The roots go way back, surprisingly far back, actually, to the 1960s and 70s.
Really? How so?
Well, Los Angeles, for example, had something called the Community Analysis Bureau. They were using computer databases, cluster analysis, even aerial photos to gather data for things like disaster planning and understanding poverty. Pretty forward-thinking for the time.
Wow, okay. So it's been evolving.
Definitely. And scholars talk about three main generations of smart cities. Smart City 1.0 was very tech-driven. Basically, tech companies push solutions onto cities, sometimes without cities fully grasping the implications.
Tech first, ask questions later.
Kinda, yeah. Then came Smart City 2.0. This was more city-led. Mayors, city planners started taking charge, thinking strategically about the city's future and how tech could help achieve their vision.
Okay, more purposeful.
Right. And now we're supposedly in Smart City 3.0. This is seen as a citizen co-creation model. The idea is that neither the tech companies nor the city government holds all the power. The focus shifts much more towards equity, social inclusion, making sure everyone benefits.
Citizens at the center.
That's the goal. Vienna is often cited as a good 3.0 example. They have programs where citizens can invest in local solar power and strong public engagement on issues like affordable housing and gender equality within city planning.
So it's been a real journey. Tech-driven, then city-driven, and now hopefully citizen-driven, putting people back in the picture.
That seems to be the direction, yes.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the nuts and bolts of the technology to how these cities work, the real-world examples, the challenges, and even the history.
And throughout it all, I think the core goal remains pretty clear: improving quality of life for residents and fostering sustainable economic growth. Using tech to deliver services better, more efficiently, maybe even find new ways to generate revenue.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's not really just about the sensors and the software, is it? It's about using those tools smartly to build cities that are more resilient, more sustainable, safer, and ultimately just better places to live and work, places where people can thrive.
Absolutely. Which leads to a final thought maybe for you listening. As this technology becomes more and more embedded in our cities and our daily lives, how can your voice, your engagement, help shape the smart city of tomorrow? How do we make sure it reflects not just efficiency, but the actual character, the spirit, the humanity of our communities?